Okay, after a short delay, we're back with Evangelos, and he's gonna tell us about the current state of affairs of Mobian, or actually running Debian on mobile devices. Welcome, Evangelos.
Hello, sorry for the slight delay. As Rudi gently introduced, I'm going to be talking about running Debian and Debian-based systems on your smartphone, a little bit why you might want to be doing that, and when the year of the Linux desktop, of the Linux mobile year. Words are hard. Will be coming or maybe not coming. First of all, who am I in case you don't know me? I have some weird nickname. I've been using Linux for quite some time already, and I started getting involved with Debian in 2020 after having received one of the earliest PinePhone editions that you could get, which was called the Braveheart edition. And if you know the device, it's like the name is really well suited for such a device. But I was actually really happy with it. That was my daily driver at the time, because I always despised these new sorts of touchy devices where it's really awkward to type in things, or at least for my hands. I don't know about you, but I never really saw the point at the time and preferred to use some dumb phone which had an actual button keypad. So that's how I got started contributing to free and open source software, both in the capacity of doing upstream development, in my case primarily for the calling application, which I will get to later in more detail. And I mostly do G-Object-C, maybe some Python from time to time, and I really like Emacs. This is more or less why I'm running late, and I'm not actually talking about some issue on the phone, but that's more how I feel. Waking up after minimal amounts of sleep and maybe not quite having finished the preparation for this particular talk, but I hope you'll enjoy it anyway. So let's see, why would you want to be running Debian on a smartphone? To me, the answers to that are pretty obvious. We're used to software freedom on our laptops and servers and other machines, and I guess a lot of the audience in this particular room would also be using, the Lineage OSs of this world or F-Droids rather than the out-of-the-box Android, iOS sorts of things, precisely due to reasons of software freedom. And, Debian is the universal operating system, and because it runs on every device, so why not just throw it onto, maybe I should point to a device that actually, I'm sorry, I'll put it back. I don't know, maybe can the camera pick up something like, not enter passcode, this. Because this is one of the devices that, at least in this iteration of reality, started the getting the ball rolling. At least that is my understanding. So this is the Librem 5 from Purism, the company that pays me to develop free software, and this is a cool thing. You can go back. I'll continue on here. And the other question, like why you would want to or potentially want to use Debian on your smartphone, is because you can use all the same tools that you're used to from other things. You can put SSH on your phone. You can apt install anarchism if you're so inclined. And apart from that, we have been seeing lots and lots of work being done in like the whole ecosystem, not just like in terms of which phone shells are available. And this being Linux, there's obviously more than one choice when it comes to that. And I don't know, friendly banter between competing camps is not something new to lovers of the free software. So what is different about these devices? And when I say these, I'm particularly talking about Librem 5, PinePhone, and PinePhone Pro as the, I would say, prime examples, and maybe the PineTab too, that have been thrown on the market and are using kernels that are decently close to what you find in Linus's mainline. So, for example, currently we are, I should maybe elaborate that Purism is not running like their Debian itself, but some other thing that is based on Debian. And while a lot of the user land currently is based on Bullseye, all of the kernels that are being developed are fairly recent, with 6.2 being the thing that is shipped to most users. If you're more a braver soul, you can enable landing, which is the equivalent of SID for Debian, and get 6.3. And as we are speaking, well, maybe not right now because it's a Saturday, but there are people working on doing work on 6.4. And they're also trying to get that work of the hardware enablement side into Debian proper. And at least when it comes to the Librem 5 dev kits, you can already boot unmodified Debian kernel on those today. But this was just some words about the kernel side of things. I want to note I'm not doing anything involved with kernel, so basically I'm picking up on the pieces that other people are working on. So yeah, I want to talk some more about other things, shiny things. So as I said, these are like the, I would say, best supported pieces of hardware in Mobian. Now, what is Mobian, you might ask, and I'll get that question a lot, and especially how it's related to Debian proper. It is it a wise idea to now move Firefox over there? I think it should be. I've not done it yet. No, it's not a good idea. It doesn't actually show. Then maybe I'll do that later. And now I don't know where Firefox went, but I'll find it eventually. So, interesting. The package build that I started is still going on and it's still timing out, so that will be fun. This is like, I don't know how many people in this room either have a device where you're running Phosh or maybe even something else, like Plasma Mobile, SWMO, and these sorts of things. I see at least, hands are going up like you don't care. 6 to 7 people, so that's definitely nice enough. Was the video looping? Okay, perfect. Because this is how, I don't exactly know which version this is, but it was a long time ago, as you can probably see by the bulky buttons and so on. So today you get something that you're potentially more familiar with, which has more modern aesthetics, and lots of the design work by our GNOME people is pushing to have all these nice little, nice designs, and pushing the whole of GNOME, for example, to get the core applications into a state where they work, where they're adaptive, so where they work both on the on a smaller, where you have a smaller screen estate, as well as touch based input handling, as opposed to a more regular laptop with a keyboard and so on. And of course, Phosh also runs on tablets, or there are people dog fooding this pretty hard. So you can run it on your laptop. And maybe the one thing that I should say about Phosh is it's a Wayland-based graphical GTK shell. So you basically have two components, and I think the slide that shows this is either gone into nirvana or just not at the right point in time. That does seem to be the case. So just pretend that there were a diagram visible right now where you see, on the bottom you have the Linux kernel, things like systemd, then slightly on top of that, modem manager, network manager, all the things if you're running GNOME-based stuff, you would get on your laptops as well. So it's more or less like you swap out the GNOME shell itself for PHOC, which is PHOC, the phone compositor, that's what it stands for, and Phosh, the phone shell. If you check the capitalization in the title carefully, you might have noticed, that it's capitalized. And that's for a reason, because it's cool. So Compositor is doing Wayland. It's using WL roots, so the same library as Sway uses, and the actual shell is written in GTK, and that has some implications. Specifically, that you can debug it just like you would any other G-object-based application. So you can easily find things where things go wrong just by setting, gdebug to fatal criticals and running that through GDB. And once your critical gets raised, you'll easily be able to tell at which point exactly in your program. So that makes things relatively simple to for the actual development side of it, as well as, if you're running into an issue as a user, providing feedback if you're not afraid of setting some environment variables and running the thing through GDB, or just using, I don't know, systemd core dump CTL, where whenever some core dump happens, you'll get it out of the box. You know what? I'll need to just do something, and that is disable a test so that this thing that I want to do, which is placing and receiving calls both through like regular cellular GSM type of stuff, as well as using zip, because I've been graciously provided with credentials for a zip count thing, thanks to our sponsors. You should, yay. I didn't do anything. Just need to... You know what? I can show you what I'm doing, I believe. If I Control Q. Okay, so maybe this is the Mobian thing. You can see right there. It's basically 40 packages on top of Debian, and you can, if you go to packages.mobian.org, you will see that. Is this big enough? So I have this bit here that's currently annoying me and preventing me from running my demo, so I'll just get rid of it. And now do this again. Wait, where was it? I think this was the right incantation. I'll do this, I'll let that continue in the background, and I'll just go back to running my presentation. And this is probably not the best style because I need to go through this all again. So maybe, there were probably better ways of doing this. What else is new, particularly in the shell, since that's one of the things that I can talk more about, or I feel more confident, especially since I've given a variation of this talk at FOSDEM earlier this year. And you can probably see the notification which says, "Hi FOSDEM, hope you're enjoying your waffles." I had the same thing prepared for with the nice Debian swirl, but it all went up in flames until such a time that I'll get this running, and I hope to getting to it in the course of this presentation. But potentially we'll move that completely over to the end, because there's otherwise not much for me to do than wait for this build that you've seen me started just now. Okay, so there are, I would say, rather a lot of applications right now that have been made to adapt to these smaller screens. So on the right, you could see Confi. Sadly, it didn't respect in that particular version where I made the screenshot from the honoring the dark mode thing. I guess that's probably already fixed upstream, because since I'm the maintainer, I know that there was one new upstream version that I didn't get to packaging for bookworms. So if you're sad about this, don't. Okay, then there are these lock screen plugins that you can throw onto Phosh. And this is actually being facilitated through the by it being written with GTK. And you can basically build arbitrary widgets on this. Like, I don't know, a really simple, this is just the thing on the most left it's not very useful. Just look at all the wasted space, but it's a toy thing, and so it demonstrates quite nicely what you can do. Maybe of more value is the screenshot in the middle, which would, in this case, show you your upcoming events from your calendar, or even providing emergency information in case you are ever in an accident, which I don't hope for you to happen. Or even like the whole ticket thing. But this is all actually old news. And if you watched the FOSDEM talk, or I guess a lot of people here haven't, so that's why I'll get to the next bit, which is while you have regular GNOME Control Center, there's maybe some knobs that you want to twiddle with that are not exposed there yet, or that are really specific to how Phosh does things. And there's actually been a lot of development since this particular thing in February. So, for example, you see on the left the feedback panel, where you can set up like per application feedback levels. So, for example, you probably most of the time want to have your calling actually produce like all of haptic and visual in terms of the LED notifying you with a blue or some other pulsing. It will also, like you can, for example, if the vibrations from the keyboard when you're typing on characters annoy you, you can just disable that in there. And with the latest versions, and I hope that I will be able to show this to you live a little bit later, that you can get an impression of just how much has actually changed in only a few months of time. And this is due to we're like aiming in the Phosh world. I'm putting in air quotes, or like the what you would consider core components for Phosh. So like the actual shell, the compositor. I'm considering the calls application to be part of that as well, although on a tablet you wouldn't necessarily need to use that. So yeah, there are basically in Debian a number of meta packages like Phosh Full and Phosh Tablet and Phosh Phone, which pull in more or less of the things you expect to have on a particular device. The thing on the right that's been playing there is another setting that you find in Phosh Mobile settings, and that helps you in cases where there's an application which has not specifically been made to adapt to a screen, and instead, like in the overflows, you can set that particular application's surface to be rescaled to your available screen estate. And there's just one note to make here. I believe that the scaling does not work for X-Whale and stuff. So that's, if you're wondering, like when you're running Mumble on your phone, because why wouldn't you run Mumble on your phone? And you want to get to the preferences window and that does not work, and you go to the thing to configure it to scale properly and it's still not working. Now you know why. X-Whale. You can probably set some environment variable to get Mumble or Qt rather to use some Wayland backend, and perhaps then the scaling thing would work. Okay, so this is also something that happened last year. Well, when we were at DebConf 22 in Kosovo, and if you've looked at the pictures that were made available through the different channels, you may have noticed that it was always sunny, really nice weather, and that kind of called for having an option to automatically switch between high contrast mode and non-high contrast mode based on the intensity of, photons flying from the the fusion reactor in the sky into your ambient light sensor. And on the left-hand side of this, you can see like the G settings that you would have to use, like from the CLI last year. This year, the plan was to also put this into the Phosh mobile settings application. Sadly, there's a merge request which does this, and I wanted to make a video here because we're also having nice weather, but this does not. This is much more convenient today, and the frame titles would have been hilarious if the content were completely right. Also, I should have checked this. Let's continue. Calling, yeah. This is the calls application that I mentioned earlier, is the main thing that I'm working on. And yeah, it looks, I have to say it looks nice. When you compare it, or you've noticed that it's GTK3, and designers are nudging me gently in the direction of GTK4, but this will not happen for GNOME 45. I will do, like once GNOME freezes, I'll get into that. And maybe, unit fog.service not found. This is not good for the demo, but I hope you're still enjoying yourself, because I am. And this is the other slide where I did wanted to fix up. It was already broken for FOSDEM, and now you'll get to see it as well in all its glorious brokenness. So the calling application does work for SIP as well, as I've hinted at earlier when I said that I did get some credentials. Maybe I can use the other phone. It's good I brought two. And we can do the same sort of thing. Nicholas, I'm going to plug in the audio, and I'm not going to show the screen because that will contain personal numbers that I wanted to have patched out with the package building that I was doing earlier. So, by the way, how I'm good for time actually. Let me try maybe this. Guido, get ready. Oh, I'm not hearing things. Will you hear the ringing? Should be ringing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Maybe slightly louder.
Hello.
Ah.
Who's calling?
You don't know me? You don't recognize my number? I'm having a talk right now, as you probably know. Hello, Guido. Allow me to...
Hello, Evangelos. I'm enjoying your talk on video.
You are? I'm having a hard time up here. I hope no one notices.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do a post-mortem on that one, I guess. So this slide, since my phone's not, like the other phone is not working, I can, I can do it like this. You see this right here was supposed to be the demo phone. And currently it says, well, it's just terminal output. I could, if I plug in, like I'm actually SSH'd into this, and I was trying to desperately make it work. But yeah, I guess you have a minute, Guido, so maybe you can help a brother out. Do you get any echo, by the way?
Oh, no, it's fine. I have excellent audio quality, and I am enjoying watching the live sessions. Hello, Hamburg, and enjoy mini-debconf.
Yay! Yeah. So this is one of the things that I would be showing you live and in color and in all its swiping glory right now if I were to have a working phone. You know, it's funny because yesterday I had one phone, during the day trip I had one phone in my left pocket, another phone in my right pocket. And that's... Sorry? Andrew rightly points out that this is not enough phones and I should actually have 4 of them. I'm not sure I agree, but like the idea was I forgot some things. One of them were some of the stickers that that have arrived today thanks to my beautiful fiancée sending them from back here, and on the table over there there's more of them for you to pick up if you want. I think I have one on the back right now. That was like one of the reasons that I really wanted the phone, because there was no distinguishing feature between these phones except for I'll just put you down real quick and uncover the back case right here, and you will immediately notice which one is the phone where I'm experimenting on and which isn't, but this is not clearly visible from the outside. No, it's not out. It's really nice. I don't know what you're getting at. Like the ideal solution here, but I didn't have the time, is there's breakout boards where you can get I2C and serial, but since I was eager to get work done, I'll just unscrewed all these little things, did the procedures to get to places I knew I wanted to go, and applied some heat with my soldering iron, which I'm not very good at handling. Seeing as there's, I don't know, can I get some extra? I mean, I'm not even sure I need that much extra time. Anyway, since this is actually the last slide. I could probably do some, show some videos and other things that I was very excited to talk about, and I'll just put them in the background while we do some Q&A. Guido, do you want to stay in the... Sorry?
We can also continue the phone call.
Yeah, we're doing all sorts of things
right
here.
away.
Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. So maybe while I compose myself, does anyone already have any questions? Helmut?
Yeah. Thank you, Evangelos, so far. And
It's been a wild ride.
See if there are some questions.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for the drive through Mobian and it. Actually, it seems like you are actually building packages on the phone, right?
Well, in this particular case, usually
Why?
I'm not doing that.
Why don't you just build on your laptop?
Well, that is... Like, you mean, as the cross-building person, I guess this is exactly what you're getting at. Usually I actually use, like, pbuilder, git dist something. Did music just start? No, it's paused, not started. Maybe I can even... I could show the...
So it feels like you didn't know it was working, maybe.
It was working pretty nicely until I got up this morning.
The building.
Cross-building. Sorry, I'm all...
Yeah, we should look into that later.
Yeah, thank you. That might speed up some things. But as I said, usually I'm basically using emulation for that and not direct cross-building, which would make my life even better, because I absolutely love the tooling in Debian. And one of the points that I wanted to get across with the device that is now refusing to work is I put basically the latest Mobian on it. And I've grabbed, like, since it's stable, it came with GNOME 43 and like Phosh and Fog, which I guess is now, is it, oh, did Guido go, by the way? I've not noticed. Sorry, Guido, or are you still there? No, I don't see the window, maybe, did he say bye? Okay. Bye, Guido. Thank you for helping me out. What was I saying? I was saying lots of things.
You were saying nice things about Debian build tools.
Yeah. So GNOME 43 is what you will get in, like, what is Mobian stable. And if you're interested to learn more about like the Mobian bits, there was a nice talk by Arnaud, like the founder of Mobian. You would say, or would be very right to say. And maybe I also wanted to specifically highlight some of the work that Andef has been doing. He is recently like a member of the Mobian team who has recently also become advanced in the ranks to become a Debian maintainer in the latest news, and who's been working very diligently to have nice like CI things that are totally magical but make rebasing like all of the patches that we need for on the kernels to get like full hardware enablement. As I said, it's not, I didn't say it, but I'm saying it now. It's not running completely mainline, but it's very close to mainline. So for in the case of the Librem 5, that's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, on the order of maybe 15,000 lines of code difference as opposed to, I don't know, the millions that you'd typically have on an Android device. Are there any other questions? Okay. I thought I was interesting, but maybe not. The demo would have been nice. Okay, so then let me continue with the bit that I wanted to get across. So I've not stopped at having stable, but since Jeremy Bicker from the Debian GNOME team, who works for Ubuntu, is doing amazing work on packaging lots and lots of GNOME things, it was actually very easy to just include like experimental pin like GNOME and Phosh packages, and you would have a significantly different experience, and dare I say looking a lot more better and a lot more polished than you'd have today. With like GNOME 43 is nice by itself, but one of the complaints that I hear from some of the GNOME people, and this is what I wanted to refute, is that you can't have modern, like a modern stack on GNOME, because they consider, or some of them consider it to be like only stable and only for servers, and yeah. I mean, I like for my packaging stuff, since I'm using testing, I consider it to be, it's a rolling release up until freeze, and yeah. So there's obviously breakage on the way, but there will be breakage everywhere where software is being developed or packaged. Yeah.
So we are approaching lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any more questions in the audience?
No.
So this is a very basic question. How hard or how easy is it to bring Mobian to your cell phone?
Well, that depends on your cell phone. Like how good or bad it's supported. There's actually, and this is good that you're bringing it up now. Let me do it here. Okay, let me do it over there. Wiki posts market OS, not this, but this devices. Post market OS have been working lots and lots on, like recently enabling the SDM 845 SoC-based devices like OnePlus 6, Poco phone, I believe, and Shift and Fairphone and these sorts of things. And you should probably check like this nice matrix where it'll tell you which which peripherals are working and for which particular device. And this, if you're asking me, is not looking that bad. It's lots of green, actually. So go on there, check the thing, and it would be like with the architecture, I'd say, if you have a kernel and know of ways to getting things to boot on your particular device, because with some of the Android devices it's not as straightforward as compared to plugging in USB-C and running basically what accounts to something like, maybe let me quit here. This is the command that I basically ran on my thing, and you wouldn't need to do this bit because this is this is actually in, well, we're looking at the lower ones, unstable contrib and testing contrib. I need to test this one more time and file an unblock request, and then you'll have it as well when potentially trying things out. But this one is like on the Librem 5, well, and both on the PinePhone, that's also pretty easy. If Toboot is installed, then you'll just put in the USB cable, press, I don't know, volume up or something, and have it expose like the internal flash memory over USB mass storage class. Did I see a hand somewhere? No. They're talking among themselves. What? Okay. Thank you so far.
Okay, please give a warm round of applause for Evangelos. Thank you.
If you're interested, I could do one more thing, and I hope it wouldn't take more than, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes of your time, since you can run Phosh, like the shell, nested in a different environment. What you, for example, can, or maybe I think it's easier and less error prone if I'll just open a web page instead of trying my luck at doing this live and only making more of a fool of myself. So Phosh.mobi is everything you'd want to, well, there's lots of information about, Phosh related things. And so, okay, maybe one thing that is nice, you can see that at least Phosh has been doing the monthly thing like very closely. I haven't always, but I'm bound to other version numbering schemes, so I'm off the hook. What I wanted to show you is there's this blog right here, developing for mobile Linux with Phosh, and this explains how you can do some things without even having to own a device. So basically, for example, right here, you can see like the Compositor not running the shell, but just some other Wayland client nested from within what in that case also happens to be Phosh. So Phosh inside of Phosh. This is really helpful when you, for example, you have some application you're currently packaging up and you're wondering without having access to a device if that would work well within the constraints of what's like resolutions typically used by on these things. And there's some invocations you can perform and basically then get your application right there in a window on your laptop. So I'm, for example, also doing all of my development. All of my development like from within Emacs, and if I'm happy, then you will be too. Thank you.